Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Stews here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I am going to be doing a review on The Equalizer 3. So, The Equalizer 3 is the third and probably final installment in the Equalizer franchise, as well as the latest film that is directed by Anthony Fuqua, and it stars Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning, and probably the only two cast I know. Oh yeah, also the same actor who played Enzo Ferrari in Ford versus Ferrari. I don't remember the actor's name, but I can recognize him. Especially when I rewatched Ford versus Ferrari recently, I was able to recognize that guy, and it tells the story of Robert McCall, once again played by Denzel Washington, who is a who pretty much moved on from the U.S. and is now in a new life in Sicily. Like he went on a mission to Sicily. Like in the beginning of the movie, he's on a mission to stop a bunch of to find a bunch of gangsters who are drug cartels, and then he pretty much defeated a group of cartels. But then this kid out of nowhere just shoot this kid who actually works for the gangsters shoots Robert, pretty much causing him to be sent to the hospital. And ever since then, Robert has once again given up on being a part of the government assassin agency and is living the life, the living living a new life in Italy. It with the care of his doctor, played by the guy I just mentioned, the Enzo Ferrari from Ford vs Ferrari, the actor playing him. And so yeah, he just has his life, and he has a normal life in Sicily. But then some unexpected things happened when when a bunch of gangsters, this junk cartels or mafia, whatever they are, gets in the way of Robert's life, as he threatens a lot of locals, and Robert is always in the middle of the situation. Like Robert witnesses them, so learning learning that Robert's able to understand peace in Sicily, and is loving the people there. He decides to save the people's life from the mafia by involving the vicious and fighting out the mafia. Now, yep, it's all led up to this moment where I reviewed all Equalizer movies, the first two movies leading up to this one right there. And if you're wondering my thoughts on the first two Equalizer films, yeah, you may have seen my review of them. Although I will say I kind of changed my opinion on the first Equalizer film, the first movie. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think now that I reflected on it, I think I was too generous with the film. There's more flaws than I can imagine. I do think the long runtime really affects the movie because it is kind of a boring. Well, not it does a lot of boring scenes and not a lot of action. I think the movie is too long. So yeah, now I've lowered my rating from a 4.5 stars to 4 stars. I still love the film, but yeah, but I think we can all agree that it certainly is far vastly superior to its sequel Equalizer 2, which is really forgettable. Like the only thing I remember is the action, and that's pretty much it. I think I forgot to mention this. Oh wait, yeah, I actually did. The talk about the penthouse. The penthouse. I will say yes. That movie does have good action scenes, but yeah. Now, when it comes to the third film in the franchise, yes, I was actually always excited for this film in the first place. Mainly because I wanted to see. I have not seen a Denzel Washington film in theaters, let alone an Equalizer film. I still don't remember if I've seen Equalizer 2 in theaters. Actually, I still don't remember. But one thing's for sure. I was. One thing's for sure. I liked Equalizer 2 at the time before my thoughts on the film declined, but. Yeah, Equalizer 3, I will say, I was excited for this mainly because it's Equalizer, and at the time this movie was announced, there was not much movies to watch in September, so I remember putting this as my most anticipated movie of September, but until the creator just stopped it when the trailer came out. But the Equalizer trailer did look promising, and I did review the Equalizer trailer. it sucks that there was a barely any marketing. There was a such a lack of marketing for it. Not a lot of, like, there was only one trailer. There was actually UK actually released a second trailer for the movie, but apparently it's just the same as the first trailer, just with a few scenes that's cut to make it much shorter. Thankfully, I did get this trailer in theaters, this film's trailer in theaters, so specifically in my showings of Haunted Mansion and Blue Beetle. Yeah, I did get this trailer, so thank God for that. That in cinema, so I guess that's worth promoting, I guess. And I was actually expecting that this is going to be like get critically banned. I thought, like, up to the point where, like, the critics would actually rate this the lowest in the trilogy, and yeah, I thought it was get like a 40 or 30%. Calling me shocked when the reviews that came out. It actually got good reviews. Yeah, I was like 60%. I was like, okay, not bad. Like, was it got, it's gonna be like rotten like 55, but yeah, actually, but now it's actually the highest rated Equalizer film on Rotten Tomatoes with a 75%. Although the vast majority of people are not with the critics on calling this the best in the trilogy, because they still think that the first Equalizer is still the best one. Well, I think everyone says that this is better than the second. Well, I'll give it that, yeah. And then I saw it in theaters today, and after seeing this movie in theaters, what did I think of the Equalizer 2? I gotta say, yeah, this movie lived up to the hype, but this movie actually surpassed my expectations. Actually lived to the hype, that's kind of an understatement. I wouldn't say I was actually hyped for this. I was like, it's gonna be like decent, a decent film. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed this movie. Really enjoyed it. And this movie did surpass my expectations. And yes, I gotta say it right now, I'm totally with the critics in this one. I think they were right. This is the best Equalizer movie, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I actually was not. I actually did not think that this was gonna top the first as the best Equalizer movie, but somehow it just managed to, and yeah, it just did it. I don't like, and I'm surprised by that. Yeah. And yeah, sure, this movie is yeah, sure, this movie is certainly a masterpiece, and it's not gonna, and it's definitely not gonna break any new grounds for this franchise. But for an Equalizer movie, I think this is just such a great attempt at concluding the franchise. And if this is yeah, if this is a conclusion to the Equalizer franchise, then this is a 1,000,000% a worthy conclusion. Now, yes, yeah, it's no masterpiece. Like, it's not even one of the best action movies of the year. Far from it. Yeah, yeah. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part One is still the best action movie of the year, and John Wick Chapter 4 also. But this one, I mean, it's still like its own thing. Like it's not trying to compare to like every other big action movies, but it's still really good. Yeah. Yeah. Where did I get started with this? Yeah, this is so like, the best thing I can say about this is that, yeah, it certainly improves on, it brings back what the second film took away from this franchise, and it even upgrades on what made the first film so good. Yeah, the first one so good. Yeah. This is relatively a smaller scale than the first two films, but I think that's how it works. Yeah, like, it doesn't go too big. It's not that big in scale. Heck, it actually has the weakest action scenes in the trilogy. Yeah, I gotta admit that. Now, don't get me wrong, the action scenes are still good, but I just prefer the action in the first two films, despite this being overall the best in the trilogy. Um, like in the trilogy. And yeah, but I love that this film takes place in Italy, as it brings more charm to the franchise, and I actually enjoy seeing our heroes in Italy more than seeing them in the U.S. like in the first two films. I absolutely love, the beautiful scenery of Sicily. Sicily, like, after seeing this film, it makes me wanna visit Sicily. Yeah, it actually, like, it's actually able to show other parts of Italy, including its capital, Rome. Yeah, which I have been to Rome before, and yeah, sure, there's not much Rome scenes, but yeah, it is really good. The Rome scenes are pretty good for the most part. And the Um, and but yeah, Sicily is beautiful. Yeah, man, it's just like the scenery, like the scenery of Sicily is just gorgeous. Yeah. Um, and yes, the film does have a slow pace, just like the first film. Yeah, like what I noticed. You actually noticed that that there will be like such a slow scenes, such a slow paced scenes. Like a lot of Denzel Washington films are slow paced. Like they don't like they're like big action films, but then like in between these action films, that there will be some long stretched out drama. It works if the story is good and the characters are good, and thankfully the Equalizer 3 is able to entertain me. In fact, I can even say that there was not a single scene that dragged on for me. Every single scene is just, it really left my eyes glued to the screen. Like I was like, oh, I was never bored once throughout the movie. I was just having such a good time with it. Even like even the moments where it's just simply a dialogue and nothing else, it still doesn't. It still was entertaining. I think one of the aspects that made this film very pretty damn entertaining was actually the score. And the first two films, I didn't really highlight the score because I thought the score was not was just good but nothing special. But I did not think that the Equalizer movie would give like such a great score. I don't think this will be like I would rank this among the best soundtrack of the year, like in on the same level as scores like Elemental or Oppenheimer, but on its own it's still a really good score. It's still a very good score. I didn't even think it would be one of the highlights. What I love about this score is how it like some of the tracks captures the essence of Italy, which is one thing that really puts me on board with the film, even if with these quote unquote slow moments. Moments. Denzel Washington was at his best when his trilogy. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the character development of Robert. Yeah, him just living a simple life, and learning that like learning to love like where he is, and learning to love the cultures and people of Italy, and also learning that that Italy is the perfect place for him to find peace, and that's pretty much all Robert wants. He just wants peace, and also now he's actually now known as Roberto in this film. I still prefer Robert, but Roberto is such a great name for him as well. But because but yeah, let's be real here. Roberto is just basically the Italian for Robert. For Robert. And yeah, where was I? And and yeah, so his character development is the best. He's like, I absolutely love his writing. The villain in this movie, hands down the best villain in this trilogy. Yeah. Yeah, thank God that he actually is more like the villain from the first film, and less like the villain in the second film, where he's just not some main character who betrayed who just betrayed yeah, I'm sure you know what I mean by that. Yeah, he's just some oh, he used to be Robert's friend, but then he betrayed and became an enemy. No, that's bad. Like, I love that he's played by an actor who no one knows about, an unknown actor, and yet you really feel his threat. Yeah, I even remember the names of the main villains, Vincent and Marco. Yeah, I actually remember the names, but maybe that's because they're names of people who I know very well. So yeah, it doesn't bother me. Vince is this big boss, who really you really love to hate. Yeah, that's actually what makes a villain unique. Is that you hate the villain, you hate him for pretty much what he does. I know I'm sick of the villain community to say, oh, I hate this villain because he does bad things. That's exactly what a villain should do. And then like he Vincent delivers such heart pounding moments. Yeah, his intentions are very intense. They're actually very simple this time. And not it's actually a very simple this time. Not just some overly complicated motivations like Dave York from the first Equalizer movie. This him is like like such a threat. And yeah, but honestly, out of the two villains between Vince and Marco, I honestly think Marco is my favorite of the villains in this movie. Yeah, he's even more like if you thought Vincent was unlikable, and considering that he's the big bad of the movie, Marco is a lot more fun. Yeah, he's such an entertaining villain, especially when he especially when he just randomly just threatens people and beats them out of nowhere, and you just feel that, like for example, like especially like towards like in the second middle after movie where he beats up he beats up the fisherman for I forgot why, but I'm sure but it's a clear motive for him to beat up the fisherman, the not fisherman, I mean like the selling guy. And then next thing you know, he burns the star, which you really hate him. Yeah, you really hate that guy. He's just like that's how unlikable he is. Yeah, he is such a douchebag. Such a douchebag, and yeah, you really feel like extreme, like towards him, and that's a good thing. Yeah, I wish people would understand that more. And also, and by the way, my favorite scene in the film was when Robert kills Marco. Yeah, in this like in the scene where he just like like it starts off with this restaurant scene where like you actually saw a film in the trailer when he sat when Marco just saw Robert, and he's been noticing Robert just looking at Marco whenever he's doing his quote unquote business, and then Marco just like stop minding stop minding our business. None of this concerns you, and then he just beats the crap out of Marco and be like, oh, next, like leave us Sicily alone, leave the country alone, and then he just walks away, and then next thing you know, he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill that American. He threatened me, and then he literally just came in and just beat the living crap out of him. First, like he kills the driver, and then the driver runs over another member, another one of Marco's henchmen, and then we see him just straight up stab Marco. Yeah, that is the best scene in the film to me. That is an amazing scene, like top like worthy, and yeah, but the best character of the film, I think you might have predicted it, but from the start that I would call this character the best one. Dakota Fanning Dakota Fanning's character. Who was her name again? Emma Collins. Yeah, Emma. She is the standout of the film to me. And I gotta say, no, not only is she the standout of this film, but she is the standout of the entire Equalizer trilogy. Yep, Emma is now officially my favorite Equalizer character. Yep, sorry, Chloe Grace Moretz, Terry, you've been topped. You've been topped, and yeah, after seeing this film, yeah, I'm actually now a fan of Dakota Fanning. I remember a few days ago, I in Jay Vader's Dakota Fanning movies a tier list ranking, I asked Jay Vader's, who do you like better, Elle Fanning or Dakota Fanning? And we both agreed it was Elle Fanning. I said it was Elle Fanning. But now after seeing his film, I think Dakota Fanning is the better of the two Fannings. Fannings, yeah, Dakota Fanning was amazing in this. Yeah, she's basically this CIA officer who helps will track down the bad guys, and then we see like this really nice chemistry between between Robert and Emma, and she actually and you know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of Kirby Reed from Scream 6. Yeah, she reminds me of that. Where like she's like she looks like young. She looks like she's in his 20s, even though Kirby Reed said that in Scream 6 that she's in her 30s. Yeah, she okay, how do I say this? Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, she's like this CIA this cop who's very young but still but is still very smart. And yeah, that's one thing I love about Emma. Why I consider her one of the standouts is because she's just really smart, and she knows everything. Yeah, she's even smarter than Robert himself, and even even the henchman admitted that she's smart. And yeah, yeah, I would honestly love to see a spin-off to her character. Yeah, we probably won't get another Equalizer movie, but I actually want to see a spin-off to her character where she where she pretty much becomes like the new Robert replacement, where she becomes military CIA, and she goes on another mission, which is pretty much like the sequel to this film. Yeah, please, Sony, that would be amazing. Give her a spin-off. Give her a spin-off movie, and that would probably be even better than the entire Equalizer trilogy combined. And yes, I think that this is Dakota Fanning's best performance. Yeah, sure, Coraline is the best. Yeah, sure, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Coraline are the best films that Dakota Fanning is. And Dakota is the lead of Coraline, but they didn't make me a fan of her, even though I always liked her in the first place, but I wouldn't, but back then I wouldn't call myself a Dakota Fanning fan, and now I am. And also, not to mention, and by the way, like this movie is actually the serves as the reunion between Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning, because last time you saw both the duo was in Man on Fire, which I think is fantastic. Despite it being a little overly long, I love the movie, and Dakota Fanning was most certainly a standout in that film, even though she was just a little kid. It's actually my second favorite Dakota Fanning performance. Yeah, and yes, I prefer her in that film than both Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Coraline combined. I don't even remember much of Dakota Fanning's character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's like very not one of the most significant things about the movie. It's just my favorite movie that she was involved in. And yeah, so anything else I gotta mention? Oh yeah. Also, I do have. Oh yeah. One thing I gotta mention. Dakota Fanning's character. There are some this surprise ending. I'm not sure if I would call it a plot twist if it counts, but she's actually the daughter of two characters who we knew in the first two films of Bill Pullman and Melissa Leo's character. I did not see that coming. Yeah, I've actually seen her in Equalizer 2 where I actually saw her in Equalizer 2 in the beginning of the movie where she only had like a very brief appearance, and yeah, that was surprising. I actually thought that she wasn't gonna get a lot of screen time here, considering that she didn't have a lot of screen time from that trailer. But I'm surprised, and I'm glad that she got a lot of screen time and gets to be the standout of the trilogy. Oh yeah, also shout out to that that waitress that from the coffee shop that Robert always goes to. She's also an amazing character and one of my favorite characters in the film. So yeah, so now are there any flaws with the movie? Well, I will admit the story is average. Yeah, it's not a very good story. I'm sorry. Now I will say that I acknowledge the story for being simple, considering that the first movie had no, the second movie had such a complicated story out of a simple premise. This story is very simple. It's just basically Robert trying to find peace until like he finds a mafia. The mafia's motivation, they're very clear, and they're very clear, and they don't go over complicated. Although it comes to a fault because the story is basically just the story is pretty much like it's formulaic. Like it pretty much takes a lot of formula from the first two films, and while it does add some new things, yeah, I think it's hard for me not hard for this movie not to escape from the formulaic story where it's basically like it feels like the same story as the first two films, the same premise where Robert is a retired assassin who just wants to live a normal life and does well, he does things normal thing quote unquote normal things, but then later on he sees the mafia killing people, and then he must step out of retirement to defeat them. Yeah, it's noticeable that it's noticeable how how cliche that sounds. Yeah, you can't get away from that. So yeah, So overall, the Equalizer 3 is my favorite in the trilogy. It's not groundbreaking, it's not a masterpiece, and it does have a weak story, but it makes up for it with great characters, old and new. Denzel being at his best, Dakota being the best character in the Equalizer trilogy. Action scenes that are also a little bit underwhelming. Like I expected more from the action scenes. Still pretty decent. And a banger for score and great set pieces for Italy, for Sicily, and Italy just being a great country for this. Oh, and I should add as well. This is the shortest Equalizer film, which and it's under 2 hours long. I think that is a perfect runtime for this movie. I think that is a perfect length because it doesn't need to go above 2 hours. And yeah, I criticized the for Equalizer one for being way too long, but this one thankfully isn't. So yeah, I'm sucks that people aren't talking about this movie anymore. Maybe because I'm like 3 weeks late from seeing this movie. But yeah, I highly recommend you to watch this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, just go watch it. If there's nothing for you to watch it this month, go check out this one. Well, before the creator, because I wouldn't make you want you to watch this film over the creator, because I'm sure the creator will be a masterpiece. So that said, I'm gonna give the Equalizer 3 4 stars out of 5. So for my review of the Equalizer 2, what is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me that this is the best Equalizer movie, or do you still think the first Equalizer is better? I'm sure everyone we can all agree that this movie is better than the second one. Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on the Expendables, the first three Expendables film, leading up to Expendables 4. Bye, guys.